A Washington journalist says the Biden administration touts itself as pro-working class while failing to understand key issues that working class Americans face. Amber Athey, Washington editor at The Spectator, writes, quote, inflation and shortages are no joke for working class families. The White House's response, however, has been to deflect from how to fix the breakdown and instead mock Americans who are concerned that Santa may not be stuffing himself down the chimney this Christmas. And joining us now is Amber Athey. Amber, welcome back. Great to see you as always. You mentioned in your column that the Biden administration doesn't seem to understand that inflation and supply chain blockages are really hurting working class Americans. Talk to us more about that.
That's right. The administration's response has really been to laugh about Americans' concerns. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki joked that the supply chain issues were basically summed up by, quote, the tragedy of the treadmill that's delayed. And Chief of Staff Ron Klain was retweeting people who were calling this a high-class problem. This is just a basic lack of economic understanding. When people go to the grocery store and prices are higher than normal or they can't find the goods that they want, those are issues that primarily affect working class and lower income individuals more because they're the ones spending a larger proportion of their paycheck on basic goods, not luxury items or wants. They're spending them on needs. And so for the White House to undermine that and downplay the severity of these issues and how they're affecting Americans really shows just how out of touch they are with everyday people.
Yeah, Amber, not sure if you saw this or not, but a recent Gallup poll shows that President Biden's approval rating has fallen 14 points since June, and there's really no indication that that approval rating will be on the rise. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal editorial board questioned President Biden's cognitive abilities. What do you think this indicates for his presidency, and do you think there's any way for him to turn things around?
Well, it's really bad news. And unfortunately for the Biden administration, all of the crises that are happening under Biden's watch are really self-created. The supply chain shortage was due to a total lack of foresight in terms of making sure that ships could get to the ports, particularly on the West Coast. You had Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg out on paternity leave for 2 months with no replacement in order to help alleviate those issues. Then at the southern border, that was primarily a crisis created by the fact that the Biden administration undid many of the border security policies that were implemented under former President Donald Trump. So unless the Biden administration changes its fundamental politics and policy, it's going to be impossible for them to solve any of these issues.
Yeah, and also getting some attention on the national stage is the governor's race in Virginia. This weekend, we saw former President Obama rallying for Terry McAuliffe as Vice President Kamala Harris actually recorded a video endorsing McAuliffe, and that was played in over 300 black churches in Virginia. I'd like to get your take on that. And also, why do you think we're seeing such big political players trying to influence the outcome of this gubernatorial election in Virginia? And do you think this will have an influence on the 2022 midterms?
Yeah, and President Joe Biden is actually going to be campaigning with Terry McAuliffe here in Arlington, Virginia, where I'm based, tomorrow evening at a local park about a few blocks from my apartment building. And the reason that Terry McAuliffe is calling in all of these high-ranking Democratic officials and party members is because he's really desperate. He sees that the poll numbers are shifting in favor of Glenn Youngkin. He sees that the suburbs are actually trending toward Glenn Youngkin. And all of this is about education. And the Biden administration and Terry McAuliffe and even Barack Obama, when he campaigned for Terry last week, have been downplaying the role that parents have in their children's education and really have been downplaying their concerns about safety in the schools, as we've learned that Loudoun County allegedly covered up the rape of a young freshman student. There's also the issue of the teaching of critical race theory, as well as mask mandates and vaccine mandates. So parents showing up to these local school board meetings are serious about having their concerns heard. And the response from the Democrats is to treat them as if they're domestic terrorists and even call on the FBI to investigate them. So this is not an issue that is going in Terry McAuliffe's favor.
No, Amber, unfortunately, we're out of time. So much more we can talk about. But thank you so much for weighing in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.